Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Games to the Max. And I am your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me, as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, I thought this was going to be one of those shows where we're really going to have to figure out something to talk about until Microsoft decided to release their details on the Series X, and then it was like, oh, good. You gave us a sort of a headline thing to talk about. And just before we get started, this is episode 214 of the show. And, well, we are, of course, the official video games podcast at WTMnet.com in association with Last Word on Life. So thank you always to them for having us on there. And we're on pretty much every podcast place you can think of. You know, all the major ones, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, or, well, it's Apple Podcasts now, Stitcher, all those places. If we're not on your favorite service, let us know, w2network@gmail.com, and I will make sure to help you out there. And, of course, go review us on Podchaser, because I love the fact that they actually send me emails every week about how to do this thing on there or do this thing on there. It's actually a pretty neat thing. Hopefully it keeps growing. And I love their thing that they have, like, where they actually try to connect you with other podcasters to try to either have guests or for you to be a guest on their show. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll have guests again on the show. We haven't had one since Mark and Jens did the interview with Natalie, who does our intro now for the show.
Yep.
So, well, certainly. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I said, and she does it well.
Yes, she does it great. I'm happy that we actually have like an official official person that does voice acting doing that now. So, makes it sound a little bit more professional, I guess. So, certainly, Mark, you've been playing some things. I haven't played anything this week, so this will probably be a little short.
Yeah, I got back into WoW.
How is that going?
I feel dirty. It's fine. I keep getting like year-long codes from people like who work at Blizzard. The last one I got for this year, my friend was like, "Yeah, I'm never gonna play WoW," and they keep giving us these. So here you go. And my response was, "I thought I was done with WoW, but you dragged me back into it."
Well, hey, why not use your free code, right?
Yeah. It's a little different when I played it a few months ago. Like they upgraded a few new areas or old areas to new areas. And I think like the game is like done now, or like the expansion at least. But it's fine. It's WoW.
Don't they have another expansion coming? I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Shadowlands. I think that's what it's called to do out this year. That's like when you explore the Death Realm or whatever. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I find WoW just deeply frustrating because the things I want to do, I can never, like, I want to get this one mount from, this boss, and you can't just kill it over and over. You can only kill it once a week. And it's like, I've killed this guy, 160 times already. How many more times do I have to kill him until I get this one thing I want? Instead of fucking 30 gold or whatever. Give me the cool crap. Give me the thing I want so I can move on with my life.
Right, I want this stuff so I don't have to keep playing this.
Yeah, pretty much. I did this. Well, the problem with WoW is like a lot of stuff is like on like week-long timers. So like Tuesday is like the refresh. So it's like, okay, Tuesday, I now have to go back into the Panda Land and kill these 3 bosses, and I'll never get anything from them. If I could just kill the boss over and over until I got my 1 drop, then I'd be fine. The big thing I just got like a few hours ago is MegaMan Zero collection.
Well, I mean,
Zero.
I know you
I
said
played
you
Mega
hadn't
Man.
played much of it. So.
Yeah, I just played Mega Man Zero a little. I got like 3 or 4 stages beat. It's weird because like the controls are really adapted to like how you would adapt a Game Boy Advance controller to be. So like you have shoot and run, or shoot and jump. Sorry, as like I'm playing on a Switch, so it's like B and A,
Mm-hmm.
and so like shoot is like your main weapon. You can have a main weapon and a sub weapon equipped, independent. But to use your sub weapon, you have to hold down the R button and then you shoot. It's like this is awkward.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you just make this another button like Y or X? And then
there's no
L.
remapping at all?
No, actually there is, but I don't know if you can remap that specifically. If you can just remap it to a button, I hope you can, or I should dig into it. And then like to dash is on the L button.
That's not
This
that.
is awkward.
I've seen games where the dashing is on the L and R.
Yes, but not when you have the games like that have all the other buttons in use. And it's
Yeah.
well, it's because they're adapted from a Game Boy. I mean, they only had 4 buttons, or essentially, so that's what they did. But other than that, I mean, my fears are a little confirmed. Like, the resolution is grognard ugly, I think. They do have a filter to, like, smooth it out a little, but it's like this... The texture in this game is still huge on my TV. Like... And I have a
Does
barely...
it look good portable, or have you not tried it yet?
I haven't tried. I mean, it might look better, but then I can't easily use my gamepad, that's the reason I want it on Switch.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the
It'll be
thing
nice
is on the other modes you'd have the problem. I mean, like on PS4, Xbox One, PC, you'd have the problem of it doesn't look great on your TV, and you don't have the option to play it portable. So
if it was, I mean, I should actually try it on like just the handheld mode. I mean, I'm sure that would look a lot better, but then, yeah, it's because the Switch resolution is so much lower than a TV.
right.
Like I have a pretty small TV actually in my room. It's like only like 21 or 23 inches. So if you're playing this game like some 40 or 50 inch TV, you'd be like,
oof,
wow, these letters are huge. Like,
yeah, it's probably not gonna look very good blown out that much at all if it doesn't look great on a 20-something
it's funny.
TV.
Well, I should actually try to pick up like an old Mega Man Zero game or something because I have that weird ghetto adapter for my Super Nintendo. I can play like Game Boy Advance games on my Super Nintendo. I compare the two and see how they look.
I remember liking the Zero game on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah, it's really weird because like you have the Cyber Elf system, which are basically like power up like Shaos or Tamagotchis or something. Like if you like feed them energy to like use them, they're only like single use, and it's like, oh, I can stun enemies or I can prevent you from falling for 1 use. But they're like, that's it. Like you use it and then they're gone.
Wow.
Like, what? And then like you level up your weapons independent or like through use. So like my blaster is a piece of crap. My like Z Saber is like that has like a lot of experience to be gained. So I'm like, it's like 2 or 3 levels already. But yeah, it's fine. I played the first one of those games a long time ago, but that was about it. So I'm hoping the other 3 will be a little different. And then I know like ZX and the other one are much more different.
Yeah, so do you know all the games that are in that, just for people who maybe don't?
It's Mega Man Zero 1 through 4. Because hey, it's Capcom, y'all. Like they crank out sequels like none other. And then it's ZX. and ZX Advent. I guess
Okay.
those were on the DS, and I haven't tried them yet. But they actually have some like weird like faux dual screen setup that you can like use. I think like the D pad, like the analog stick to like screw around with. I think it's like weapon switching or something like that.
Well, I mean, hopefully you end up liking the whole collection.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, X is fine so far. Or I mean, not X, Zero. Yeah, keeping these games to get separated is really annoying.
Yeah, there's so many of those Mega Man games at this point,
I mean,
especially with the collections.
I'm sure now they'll work on like the Mega Man Network collection, and I'll package all those games up,
Oh
and
yeah,
that'll be your game.
I love the first one, and I think I played a few more, and then I stopped. I don't remember exactly where I
But
stopped. I
they
remember I
they
watched the
cranked.
anime or something too.
Yeah, I think they cranked those things out like crazy. I think there was like at least five of them, maybe. I mean, six, maybe.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was like the
You
one
know,
of the things they could guarantee that was gonna sell on the GBA. And did they make some for the DS? I can't remember. Or was it all GBA?
yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, there's at least six Battle Network games, and then
Jeez.
a few like network transmission and like other crap. And then they also did the Pokemon things, like where it's like, oh, Mega Man Network 3, there's the blue
Right.
version and the white
hmm
version, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, I do remember that. I think that's when I stopped. I was like, oh, yeah, we're getting into the thing where we're releasing two versions. Yep, this is getting too much.
Yeah,
So, uh, any more on the Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC?
yeah. I finished at least one more mission. It's still hard, uh, uh, and I'm still losing characters like left and right during missions. I think that it's pretty short. I'm on like chapter 4, and I think there's like only 7 chapters, which is nice. Uh, yeah, it's
Eh,
good,
at
but
least you don't have much more to
I
go.
yeah, I'm eager to go back to the regular game and just start blowing through it like I did the last time. I think that's about it. Yeah, I foolishly bought Tilt Brush and I Expect You to Die as VR games from Humble because they said they were Oculus compatible, but they meant you got Steam codes, not Oculus codes. I was
Did, did
pissed.
you get a refund at least, or?
No, because I already used them. I
Ah,
maybe I could have gotten a refund, but it's like, damn it. I was like, oh, wanted to use it for Oculus Quest, not tied down to my Steam, my computer for Steam. Like,
oh, but the 2 hour thing doesn't work for Humble.
no,
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, 'cause I think it's like no refunds or like in very specific cases. I mean, it's just I should have just looked closer at this, the store page because I just saw I was like, oh, compatible with all this with this crap. I'm like, all right, cool. And
Have
then
you
it says
gotten
on
Oculus
the
codes
bottom.
from Humble before?
No, I don't think they actually sell them. Like
Oh,
Oculus is like really closed system. You can't really buy codes from that or from other sites. I thought you maybe you could, but apparently you can't.
well, lesson learned, I
You can't.
guess.
Yeah, you can't. You can't like gift games, or you can't like. I think there is like a wish list thing, but that's like the only way you can like get a game from someone else. Like
Ooh,
there's no like voucher. Like let's say that Doctor Who game's on the Oculus Quest. Let's say I wanted to review it, and you were going to grab it for me. I would have to like put it on my wish list, and then have you buy it through that. You can't just buy like $20 of
yeah.
Oculus credit and like send it to me, or
Oh,
a code
dang.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I can't gift it to you.
Yeah, it's like this is not user friendly that much.
Yeah, considering Valve is the one that makes Steam, you would think.
No,
Well,
this
I
is all
mean,
Oculus.
Facebook maybe doesn't really care whether you can
Yeah.
have it work with Steam or not. They're Facebook. They have their own thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I have not played anything. I'm waiting on a few responses on, not that, because not that I won't uh, buy anything, just so, I'm still going through a transition with this new job, and I make at least $5 less than I made at my other job. So having to deal with, you know, now your bills are a bit more tight on the purse string,
Yeah.
so you don't have the
Oh,
freedom that you had before.
I,
So
I did. I did. I did play one other thing
yeah, go
that
ahead.
we both forgot about. Samurai Showdown for Switch.
Oh, that's right.
I don't like it.
You don't. Oh, that's not good.
Like I recognize that it's a well-made fighting game, and I can
Mhm.
see like why people would like it. But like the way you pull off a super move is like you press forward and then you half circle back to like the back, to the back direction, and then you half circle forward again. And I hate that. I just want to press down, forward, and two punch buttons, or maybe like forward, down, forward, and two punch buttons, and that's it. And I can never pull it off. I pulled it off like once correctly. That's about it. And I just don't like that. And
Oh,
I realize it's a more technical game, and
right.
I'm just not suited for it.
Yeah, it always
Like it's
sucks
well made,
when.
and
Go ahead.
also I have like no attachment to the license at all, or I have no idea who any of these characters are.
Yeah, um, I hate. That's happened to me before, where you get something and you're hoping it's like other other kind of games you played, and it's not, and you're like, oh man. Now I'm reviewing this, and it's like I'm gonna sound like I just hate this game, and I
Well,
don't really hate this game. I just,
yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, my review will probably be somewhat positive, but it's like, yeah, it's just not like the weapon. Like you can like disarm your opponents. Like everyone
Hmm.
carries a sword or something.
Right, I remember
That's
that.
kind of neat. It's like it's like Vega from Street Fighter 2. You can knock off his claw or something. But yeah, I just don't like how the specials work or the super moves work, and that's kind of the thing you like in the cool looking things in these games.
Yeah. Uh,
They need to come out with a new Bushido blade. Did you ever play that?
I obviously know the name. I know what it is. I never played it though.
It was it was an old Square fighting game for like the PS1, and it was like a 3D arena uh, game. So like one hit and you could like cut off someone's arm,
Oh,
or
dang.
cut off their leg, or like one or two hits.
Nice.
And the whole game is focused on you evading your opponent and then darting in for an attack, or when they're open. So that was a lot more tactical than most fighting games.
Well, hey. Uh, sorry you're not enjoying too much the
Yeah,
Samurai Showdown.
well, we both forgot about it, so that shows you how much of it.
Well, technically it's already been out. It just came out on the Switch.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like
Yeah.
it looks fine. I mean, it doesn't look degraded like you might expect.
Well, that's a positive though, at least, because a lot of times,
Yeah.
since it's already been out on those other systems, you won't get the best version on the Switch. So
Oh
that's good to
yeah, but
hear.
I mean that company. I think it's Arc. I don't know. It's not Arc System Works. I don't think.
No, it's
But the Switch is like,
well, SNK and uh
yeah, SNK. They do
yeah.
it. Uh, the Switch is like powerful enough for like fighting games because they're lower overhead than GTA 5 or some big open world game or something.
Yeah, I mean, the Mortal Kombat's kind of. I mean, obviously the
That
graphics don't look great, but it's still good on it. You know?
yeah, or like Dragon Ball Fighter Z works fine on that
Yeah.
thing because I have it.
Well, I mean that's another positive for the Switch. So you know, hey, if you like Samurai Showdown, maybe go pick it
If
up
you
on the
remember
Switch.
what Samurai Showdown was from 30 years ago,
Well, it's been at the at the fighting game
Evo.
tournaments and stuff, so people have probably
Yeah.
seen the new version of it by this point if you're a fighting game fan.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on from that and getting into the news. Just gonna go ahead and since Microsoft decided to throw that out there today, might as well since we're getting to the end of February, because next time we do a show it'll be March already, and we'll be ever so closer to the craziness starting, which March 20th. Technically, I guess it starts like a week before on March 13th with Neo 2, but the real craziness starts on March 20th. So we're not too far away from that. It's absolutely nuts to say we're getting that close. But I mean, if you talk to a lot of people, they would say it's been like an absolute drought before we get to that point. So they're kind of waiting for these big games to start hitting. So Xbox games for gold for March 2020 is Batman Enemy Within, which is the final Telltale game that was made before Telltale. Uh, I think
Folded.
started going into pro issues, and also Shantae Half Genie Hero, which the Shantae games are great platformers. So definitely pick this one up at the second half of the month if you don't have it already for Xbox One. Definitely pick that up. Something you could probably do without Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
That's a bad
Uh,
game.
yes, it's not. And Sonic Generations is actually one of the better Sonic.
That's 1/3 of a good game.
Yeah, it, I
Like
say one. Yeah, go ahead.
the early levels, like the first like 2 levels or like 3 levels are pretty good, but then it falls apart kind of like like it
Oh,
just. I mean, it does because you have to like start doing a bunch of like crap for like all Sonic's friends. Like, hey, I have to race Charmy the Bee through this level. It's like what? I don't want to do that. And then I think it was like the Sonic Colors level took like 20 minutes to get through. It's like this level
jeez.
is long. Like holy crap! Like thank God these levels don't have the 10-minute timer anymore. Speaking of Sonic, I saw that movie.
Okay, well, I mean, I kind of talked about it last week, so what did you think of it?
I thought it was fine. The like Sonic's origin is really screwed up because there's like 2 or 3 different type like origin stories for him. Uh, the comic one is particularly crazy. So like what they did was fine enough. It's very simple. Uh, I thought how they handled the rings was really weird because they're like, oh, these open portals to gate to new worlds. It's like they didn't do that in the other games. Like what?
Well, I think what are they supposed to explain them to do in an actual real life setting? I mean, you know?
I could have seen it. I mean, I would have ditched the rings and had them be like Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, they could have done that. Especially
Uh,
considering the stuff with the Avengers and all that. I think that would have played in a better understanding, actually.
yeah.
But
Story is fine. Jim Carrey is really good, actually. I thought, you know, nice return to form for him. Uh, my friend didn't like it. I saw it with a friend. She didn't like it because like a lot of the movie was on Earth,
okay.
and it's like, yeah, they have to, they're not going to have a whole movie based on Mobius or whatever line Sonic is from. I imagine the sequel might do that, but not this
Yeah,
first
I
movie.
think when you don't, it's exact the reason why is the budget. Like they
Yeah.
couldn't if they were to put it on Mobius or the Mushroom Kingdom or whatever the heck. Um, I think you're you're blowing your budget up way more than you're expecting, and they didn't expect it to make 200 million. So obviously the second one sets up to where okay, we have expectations for this now. Okay, now we need to kind of deliver on those, and you can't have the whole movie set on Earth or whatever. I think it's
Yeah.
the same thing with Detective Pikachu. Obviously, it's more grounded and more realistic than say the other parts of the Pokemon series. But that's also a reason is it's much cheaper if you can base it on Earth and not some mystical Pokeland where you gotta have a bunch of stuff that people are expecting to see. So yeah.
Also, I think Sonic and Pikachu are both really good examples of, they aren't the most ambitious movies, but both movies have a clear respect for the source material,
hmm
which is more than you can say for every other video game movie ever,
Except Mortal Kombat.
except for, yeah, except for that one. And it's more of a fluke than anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's because they just did a wacky freaking Mortal Kombat movie and it was fine. So um
Now, the first one's actually fairly serious. The second one is a wacky one.
yeah. But I mean it's good though. It does
Yeah,
honor Mortal Kombat. So
yeah.
uh yeah, I
But
mean glad you liked
X,
it.
yep. Back to Xbox One nonsense.
Yeah, back to Xbox nonsense. Well, this is details that I think people want to know. And honestly, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a tech person. So I don't really care about 12 teraflops and all the junk that they do and whatever. So if you
Come
want,
on, man. Everyone knows the most powerful system is the clear winner.
right, exactly. This is why they bought so many studios because just having 12 teraflops is gonna win the generation for
Yeah,
you. So
that's
I
why the
mean,
original Xbox was such a winner.
well, well, exactly. But I think also, what using that power to then make awesome games that you can
Yeah.
only get on Xbox and PC is
Oh yeah.
is helping
Like
for you. So
I mean, like the original Xbox ran Morrowind, not like perfectly, but it ran it. Like I couldn't imagine trying to run Morrowind on a PS2. It would like ass ugly and then crash like 20 minutes in.
right, I mean, it could actually if the game would have used it, which that was the thing with StarCraft Ghost was that it could actually run the game at 720p. Is the original Xbox could run on 720p if they
Yeah.
ever, but at the time
Like
they really didn't have TV. People didn't have
yeah.
TVs to really take advantage of that, so it was kind of pointless. But yeah, either way. So just to let you know, I'm going to talk about these things, but this is not going to be the podcast where we break down what all that really is and what it's going to do. I care more about the stuff that's not the tech stuff that they announce with this. So I'm sorry if you're one of those people that is super techy and wants to hear all that conversation. So just to run it down, I'm sure most of you probably listening know this stuff already, but so the GPU is capable of 12 teraflops of performance, which is twice that of the Xbox One X and 8 times the original Xbox One, which is crazy. The system can support up to 120 frames per second. So if you're gonna get this version of the Xbox, which we still don't know if there's gonna be other, I'm sure there will be other versions of other series of the Xbox that will come out. If you just have one of those, like I do, you have the TCL 4K TV that is a 4K TV, but it's not really a gaming 4K TV. If people really go crazy with these Xbox Series X games, maybe you might have to consider investing in another TV to really take advantage of it. But yeah, so it's going to be doing. It has the capability of doing DirectX ray tracing. Um, so the lighting's going to look more awesome. And then it has things like quick resume, which I think this is cool if you have a lot of friends over and you guys play multiplayer games and you don't want to have to restart the game every time. You can then have, okay, Fortnite or Mortal Kombat or um, Rainbow Six Siege or whatever the expansion is going to be called, uh, available to just pop it open and there you go, or Borderlands or whatever other multiplayer game you have, and then you have your game that you play by yourself, and that you can both quick resume them. Um, I didn't think this is like something that's crazy. If you only play one game at a time, I don't think that being able to have multiple games suspended at once is that big a deal. Um, but I don't know. What do you think?
No, but I think the larger issue is like how often do you have a lot of people coming over?
Well, I mean, there are people that perhaps do that aren't us, but that the younger crowd or just somebody that they're more of a casual gamer that they play Call of Duty with their friends or they play Madden with their friends or that kind of thing. So and they don't want to have to wait for the console to load and then load the game up and do all that. You just have your last game there, or hey, your friend needs to leave and you go, okay, well, next time you come over, it's there. You know, like
I mean,
this
yeah,
may
but
not. I don't think this is something that's gonna sell an Xbox. This is something that you find out you have and you use and cool, whatever.
I think the problem is still somewhat overblown. It's like, okay, you have a friend coming over. How long does it take it to load up a game? Like a minute, maybe two. It's like,
Well,
okay, you want to play something else? It's like, well, okay, let's say the game's digital. It's like, okay, let me swap over. It'll be a minute. It's like, okay, go to the bathroom or get chips and it'll be done. Like it's not like it doesn't be instantaneous. Like having a minute or two of downtime is fine.
yeah, I mean, I think this is not something that you're really gonna hear a lot of people use a lot and just be like, "Oh my God, I love my Series X because it has the quick resume thing." Like, it's something
Back
that
in
you
my
can,
day,
yeah,
no, I was gonna just say back in my day we had to pop out cartridges and put new ones in. We liked it.
yeah, and then you had to wait for that save point that might be 20 minutes away before you went somewhere,
Yeah.
you know? So, um, I mean, obviously, I think the big thing is that it's gonna have no loading time for that, so that's nice. And obviously that the games are gonna load faster with the SSD, which I think and also the HDMI 2.1, which will make things look nicer and all that stuff. I think those things are cooler. The biggest thing that everybody's been talking about, and obviously helps that we had a developer come out and basically just immediately, almost as soon as Microsoft announced this, was already talking about how they were going to use this feature, is the smart delivery, which is no matter which version of the Xbox you're playing on, Microsoft will make sure that you've got the best version of the game for your console. And so if you get Halo Infinite on Xbox One X and you don't need the Series X files, you don't have to download them, and it won't force you to download them. You'll just download the One X version. And then if you upgrade, it'll automatically put the Series X version on there, and you don't have to pay for it. It's free. So CD Projekt Red actually came out in a tweet and said gamers should never have to pay for a game twice, and that's why basically for the Series X they will be giving that to you whenever that becomes available because they've already said that they're not going to be making Cyberpunk 2077 won't be available at launch for the PS5 and Series X. So whenever they do become available, you'll get that upgrade for free, which I think that's cool. Do you think that this is something? I mean, Microsoft's already said that their first party is going to have this in there, but how many? third parties do you think will actually use this, or do you think
Again,
that they'll be coaxed into using it if, say, Cyberpunk or a few others say, okay, we're going to do it?
I think no. I think it'll be like last time because Activision, EA, and Ubisoft did it all. I think they'll. I think certain games will have a nominal fee like $10, like last time, like Call of Duty. But yeah, it can. If you pay the fee, you can get both versions. I foresee a lot of the launch titles having this, cross generational titles, because I think
Right, but
they're
so you think more will still go the old route of, okay, you're going to have to pay for it again? You don't think
oh
you're going
yeah,
to see more people use this
well,
where it's free?
especially I mean I think Ubisoft might be cool with it. It depends, but I think like Activision and EA especially will force people to pay the $10 fee or whatever.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing, is I think if you have enough publishers, third-party publishers, come in and say, okay, we'll go ahead and do it, will public pressure, especially with, EA and Activision sometimes don't have the best public relations. I mean, EA
Yeah,
has improved theirs a
let's
lot.
say
EA has improved theirs a lot with Fallen Order being good, and I mean, obviously that's more Respawn than EA itself, but um, I think it just depends, right? And the bigger thing is, will Sony have something similar to this, or will they
I think
just go ahead?
I was gonna say I think they will, but they'll call it something different, but I think it'll be the same thing as pay us $10, you can get the PS5 version. I also don't see a lot of Sony games necessarily being cross generational like Xbox games. At least the only two I can see doing that are like Sekiro and Last of Us 2.
You mean Tsushima?
Yeah, sorry, same thing.
Uh, well, like, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Horizon 2 might,
I think
depending on how
Horizon 2
far
is going to be a
along
PS.
they are with that.
I think that'll just be a. I think that'll just be a PS5 game. Period, not a PS4 game.
We'll see. I definitely think that it'll be more than just Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, and um, so
I mean, you mentioned all this, but you forget about the greatest news about Xbox One X is or the Series X is. I think Phil said that all your accessories will work on the Series X, like all the Xbox One
oh, we knew
X.
that already.
So
Yeah.
Connects are still alive, people.
Well, cool if you're still using it. I don't know why you would. I mean, if you're still playing
Everyone
Dance
is.
Central or whatever, I mean, that's a great game actually, but still, like, I think the thing is that this is still not the stuff that I think a lot of people want to hear. It's just the neat the the stuff that I think like the hardcore gamers are cool with, but this is not the stuff that the casual gamer is really going to understand and like really like go, okay, I'm buying my system because of this stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and obviously they're holding stuff back for E3, but I'm glad that they're kind of getting this stuff out of the way because I don't want them to spend 10 minutes talking about teraflops and no blah blah blah. I mean, if they're gonna show me video of what this looks like compared to the One X or whatever, and it's not in CG and it's an actual gameplay, then cool. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're getting this stuff out of the way. And now it also makes Sony have to now there's a lot of talk of people being like, okay, well, is Sony gonna have anything to say? Is what is Sony's counter to
I,
this, you know?
I think for the next console cycle, I think the PS5 will be less powerful than the Xbox One,
Hmm.
whatever. It won't be huge necessarily, but it'll be like a very small disparity. But I ultimately think it just won't matter that much.
Yeah, I don't think it will. It didn't matter this generation. What matters is obviously the games. It always has. Um, I think
Yeah,
services might play a bigger part than the power. If Game Pass gains
yeah.
even more traction, what does that make Sony do? Uh, do we see other,
I,
as
I
we
would
talked
like
about
it.
already? Go ahead.
I would like it if, I mean, this is impossible, but it'd be awesome if Sony just said, "Hey, here's our new PSN store. Every game from the PS1 on, from the PS1 up, is available to buy. Go for it."
Wow.
That, that will never happen, but it would be like, imagine if they did that. Imagine if, every PS1 game was like $5, every PS2 game was 10, every PS3 game was like
They won't do
20.
that
PS
though.
well
Weren't
PS4 is
they
variable.
weren't they already overpricing the PS2 games with saying they're
Oh yeah,
$15?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I
But
mean, those were the
it's more.
remastered ones, I guess.
It's not. It's not about really the pricing. It's just imagine if Sony just did that. Like how crazy that would be.
I mean, that'd be insane. Yeah, I mean, it would be. But if they say that they're all available to buy and then it's not like the Microsoft version where if you still have the disc it works, or
Yeah,
if you bought it, I mean, if you bought it on PS4 and they remastered it or whatever, but like I hate the fact that some of these games I bought back on the PS3 or whatever, I'm gonna have to buy again because they couldn't make it transfer or
right.
whatever. So, I mean, not that I guess if I went back to my PS3 and counted all the PS1 and PS2 games that I bought digitally on sales and stuff, it'd
Yeah.
probably start racking up.
Oh yeah.
So,
Like imagine it.
yeah.
Imagine if you just turn on PS5. My plan, was like that, and it's like, oh, you have access to 600 games from all these old generations of crap. It's like what?
Yeah, I mean, if they did the Game Pass thing with PS Now all of a sudden, I mean, that'd be insane, like you said, and I think that would certainly give a total, you know, fu to Microsoft to being like, oh, you've been sitting here touting Game Pass this whole time, saying nobody can beat it. Look what we just did. But
Like finally, I can play Mad 1997 from the PS1 on my PS5. Let's go.
that's the kind of stuff that won't be. But
Maybe that's like the WWE network, of doing things.
yeah, I think I there's gonna be stuff missing, obviously, because places have closed. It's almost impossible to get rights to that game or whatever. But
Oh, I don't. I mean, that would never happen. But
I would
it would
love
just be
it.
so. It would be so radically rad.
I would love what you said though, like at least Sony first party stuff and maybe some other third
Yeah,
parties.
like they couldn't get like old NHL games or old Madden games because of licenses,
Yeah, but
and
I
even
mean,
like Tony Hawk's wouldn't work because like the music stuff. But like most games don't have licensed music.
hmm
They don't. They're not tied to certain like a real life person or something. It's
yeah,
like,
especially if a
hey,
game's had a remaster or whatever. Like, what would be the big
if
deal
you want to
about putting the original version on there?
if you want to go play Rascal from the PS1 or Fighting Force from Eidos from the PS1, here you go.
Yeah, I mean that would be amazing if that really comes to pass because that's still a rumor. Sony hasn't ever confirmed that their backwards compatibility is going to go back that far. We they have confirmed the PS4 backwards compatibility, but not confirmed the other ones. Which I mean, it's a big rumor. People keep talking about it and stuff. I
Yeah,
think it's a big hope, but this is also something that like we talk about a lot, and Microsoft has shown numbers previously about it. But again, I don't think this is something that to the casual, um, it sells the console. I think it's something that you talk about. It's something that we as people that play games a lot, that have nostalgia for those games, that are still thinking about those games and whatever, we talk about it. It's like a wish we have, but when push comes to shove, do you really go back and play those old games? Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
look at like the NES and SNES stuff for the Switch.
yeah,
Like, yeah, some people will. I mean, it's crap like what is it, like Road Rash 3D, or I mean, I like that game, but or certain old PS1 or PS2 stuff. It's like no, like is anyone going to care about Ratchet and Clank, the four of us, what the fuck that game was called? Like no, but
Mhm.
someone might, and it'd be nice to have you know a place for all that stuff to be on there. Like my column for 411 just a few days ago was about like games of ports games I want to see ports of, because certain games are like stuck in an old platform and will never see the light of day anywhere else.
Yeah, and I mean that's uh, so many people have those because
Yeah, like
it's a
I mean,
thing of. Go ahead.
I'd love to see like Mega Man, or not Mega Man, Metal Gear Solid 3 on on a recent system, or Tokyo Jungle on a PS4 or PS5. But the odds of that aren't great.
Yeah, and I mean there definitely have to be a lot of, and even having fan support doesn't necessarily guarantee it because we've seen that for various game series in the past.
Yeah, but then
And
like look,
yeah,
look at, like Wonderful 101, that Kickstarter from a few weeks ago.
right,
Like that
right, exactly.
blew through all its like, and like, that was a pretty. It wasn't like the most unknown game, but that was a fairly niche title, even for the Wii U. So it's like good for them.
Oh
If
no,
you
for
know
sure.
if there was a a Kickstarter for Tokyo Jungle to be on PS4, like someone had ported it over, I'd sign up immediately for it.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. I think also that helps that Tencent made that helping gave that helping hand to Platinum for them to want to self-publish and all that stuff as well. But I think that's the thing is there's so much that goes into that happening, and like we saw with the Xenosaga report that they took that to a focus group and apparently it didn't pass. That they didn't think it was going to make enough money, so it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
worth it. You
or
know?
like I think there was like they were going to try to port Rock Band 4 to PC, and they set up like a fig for like $500,000, and they got like 80 grand, and that was about it.
Yeah. And they said
It's
nope.
like yeah, that's not surprising.
Or the Skies of Arcadia one that we talked about, a month ago, whatever. Like, so I, if it, if we see that happen, we're like, like Crash, where it'd be crazy to me if we don't see a new Crash game with all the love it's received with all these remasters and the remake, all that stuff. So, it can be positive and negative when you go back to the well and bring back these old games, and if you have so many more of them available for people to play again, especially for Sony that has such a catalog,
Yeah,
um, it would be really cool for them. I just hope Sony does. Uh, it, with all this stuff being available now, it'd be kind of crazy for Sony not to have any of this stuff in the pipeline.
yeah.
It would amaze me completely if Sony just comes out and goes, "We don't think that stuff's important.
Well,
None of this stuff that Microsoft is doing we're even bothering with aside from the whole smart delivery thing and the PS4 stuff being backwards compatible. It'd be kind
yeah.
of weird to me if they didn't have a counter to that at all.
I want to say this was a few years ago. There was some Sony executive who said, and I'm like, this was a quote. He said, "No one cares about old games."
Yeah, no, yeah. That's
Yeah, it was who was it? I think it was Jim Ryan. He was
mhm.
some Sony. I don't know if he's still at the company or not.
Yeah, because I think it was when they were saying why were they taking out the
Well, this is like
why
2017, so I mean, this was already after the fact.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like that's a profound like not understanding the market, or the audience correctly.
Well, but like we talked about, I think, was it last week when we talked about the Game Pass thing? Microsoft did all this stuff out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
They made themselves a lot more pro-consumer because they had to do something to get people to pay attention to them. So now all
Yep.
these pro-consumer things they've done are stuff that everybody wants to see everybody else doing, and Sony doesn't have to play ball that way. And Nintendo's
Yeah.
doing it on the crossplay front, but they're certainly not doing it on in other ways. I mean, their sales are Nintendo-ish sales where you're not going to see their games dip below very much. And they came out with that deal with Walmart instead of, doing something on their digital store. So, you know, I think we're starting to see some people do it, but Microsoft's going to have to show a lot more in this generation for everybody to do it.
Yeah.
So, I think, again, these are all cool things that Microsoft promised here. I think
Yeah.
it won't mean hardly anything if CD Projekt Red is the only third party that gives the upgrade for free. If everybody else says no, we want our
Right.
$10, then I don't think it means very much.
Well, it's interesting that like season passes or like online passes, that was big last generation. That pretty much went away this generation.
Well, the battle pass is the thing now.
Well, I mean that's different. I mean you don't have to pay to do multiplayer. That's the thing.
Right, but you're paying for the new content, which is kind of like the season
But
pass, and the season pass thing is still there for like Call
no,
of
no, I
Duty.
don't. I guess I should rephrase. I don't mean season pass. I mean the online pass.
Oh, okay,
Or
okay,
like
yeah, yeah.
the Catwoman DLC, or it's like, hey, you have to pay $10 if you bought Battlefield 4 used because the code is already used by someone else. That stuff.
Oh my God, that stuff was so terrible and it was so anti-consumer and so ridiculous.
Yeah, like that. That was pretty late in that console generation cycle, but it completely went away this one.
Oh, well, that's
Like
because they didn't need it when they found loot boxes and all that stuff.
yeah. But I mean, look at like, I mean, they went too greedy with that, so they had to really dial that back as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah, I mean, look at EA. They're having to announce every time they announce a game now, this won't have this. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of their problem is they got too greedy and now there's an immediate backlash on that stuff now.
Yep.
Well, speaking of CD Projekt Red, they are now Europe's second most valuable developer behind Ubisoft, and they have a market valuation of 8 billion now behind Ubisoft's 9.52 billion. And The Witcher 3 Netflix helped Witcher 3 Wild Hunt sell a lot, and of course the Switch version came out as well. And then it doesn't help that they have Cyberpunk waiting in the wings there too. I mean, did you ever think like when you're sitting there playing the old Witcher games, CD Projekt was going to become this such a huge developer like it is now?
Oh, I knew even back then. No, I mean, but it's kind of the same thing that happened to like Bethesda. When they were cranking out like Morrowind and Oblivion, it's like what these people, they're a smallish studio,
Hmm.
but they're not huge, and then they just become gigantic at a point, or the games just keep selling over and over. That yeah, or even like BioWare, like EA's trashed BioWare, but I mean they were lucrative in the first place, or because they had such a hardcore fan base. That's what made them attractive to buy, and then EA fucked them all up.
I think what's even more surprising with CD Projekt Red is it's one series basically. It's
Yeah, they've
like
made 4 games, or like they made like 6 games or whatever. And that like huge.
right, and it's like Witcher 3 is the one that basically really just catapulted it, and all these other uh, publishers. We're talking about Ubisoft that has so many franchises, and Bethesda as well now that it's still like pretty awesome that CD Projekt Red has ultimately been able to do this with pretty much just Witcher 3. So
Yeah, I mean, they've made a few mobile games here and there, but they've basically made 5 games.
yeah, and then one Gwent.
Witcher, well, no, Witcher 1 through 3, Gwent, and Thronebreaker.
Yeah, which
Is
Gwent
Gwent.
and Thronebreaker are modest, you know. So um, yeah, it does amaze me that like the one game was able to really take off, and then I mean, again, the Netflix series helped a ton because there was so many people that just bought that game all of a sudden because
Yeah.
they really liked the show. So hey, when people say, "Why are we making a show about this or movie about this?" This is the kind of thing sometimes where like Sega is not capitalizing on Sonic at all right now. Um, on the gaming front, unless you want to go back and if you happen to find Sonic Mania. Uh,
That's a good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like. Well, Sonic ends with like a Sonic, kind of a retro Sonic credit sequence. Like when he's
Right.
like, I'm surprised they didn't make some tie-in game with that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't know that this movie was gonna be great. So, but it is sometimes
Yeah.
surprising that they didn't have something in the pipeline, I guess, either. Um,
Yeah.
Also, the Embracer Group, used to be known THQ Nordic, is still buying developers. They are still buying developers, and of course, Saber Interactive is um, most recently the ones in charge of the Witcher 3 port for the Switch, which for a while it didn't have the best, especially portably, didn't look great. They have added a patch that makes it look much better. They also self-published World War Z, which that has its group of fans as well. And man, Embracer paid some big money for Saber, $150 million.
Which is kind of nuts because they're not like that well known.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy that THQ Nordic is paying like top dollar to have Saber in there, but I mean they're really just racking up game franchises for their own, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, the weird thing is like most of their games don't they don't do that well, or I mean, they don't sell well. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, because you're talking about World War Z, they helped on Master Chief Collection.
I meant like
And
I meant like as a whole, I would say, like
right.
Darksiders or stuff
Oh,
like
you meant
or
like THQ? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
Like, I don't
think
mean I'm not trying to crap on them, but
yeah,
it's just like these, you know,
Wreckfest is okay. I mean, yeah, it's modest. Like it's like medium size. It's definitely like what you would expect from the original THQ. It's like a double A
yeah,
developer. It's not a or publisher or whatever. It's not like the big triple A publisher money. So,
yeah.
yeah, it is weird that they keep buying developers. I guess they're trying to see if they find that hit or whatever to
That,
really catapult them, or
that'll be the new Saints Row game.
maybe. You never
It,
know.
damn, it damn sure wasn't Darksiders 3.
Yeah. But I do appreciate
They
that
were
they.
oh yeah, they made it. I mean, I give them credit for that, but it wasn't the game people wanted, and it felt like a weird, uh, like almost budget game. So does Darksider Genesis also, but that's a totally different project. So
Right, but I mean, like I said, it's like really nice that those games can be made because I don't know that other publishers
I
would
mean,
just decide to make games like that.
well, publishers now are either super indie focused or AAA.
Right.
So like those games are like B tier.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not necessarily an insult. but I mean they're not AAA quality. But there's still a demand for them, or people still have an interest for them.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see, um, and maybe we'll see this become bigger for the Embracer Group. Just don't go
Yeah.
to 8chan and do any more
Well,
AMAs or anything. Like,
yeah, that was always fun.
just stay away from things like that. Please have better PR going forward. So some of the other things, kind of big things that have occurred this week, before we, I guess, talk about one last one to go on. Obviously, the Animal Crossing Direct happened, so it's the last time we um, did a show. Mark and I are not the most Animal Crossing people. If I pick up Animal Crossing, it will be to play with my daughter, and like really that'll be the first Animal Crossing I play and get to experience that. So I think some of the
I
the stuff that they got announced was cool. I don't know if you saw any of that or.
Yeah, I never played any of those games. I mean, it looked fine. Like, I think the save stuff's a little weird for that game. Like, the Switch still doesn't have a great cloud save system at all.
Mhm.
But
That has more to
thought
do,
that's
I think, with the island thing, where they don't want people taking advantage of the clock, and they don't want people taking advantage of the whole trying to get islands on other systems and
so.
whatever.
Who cares? I get what you're saying, but it's like why it's a single player game. Like let people
Well,
play it
not
how they want to.
necessarily though, because if you're selling an item and you are able to find a way to like make multiple versions of that item in a cheating manner, it hurts the game. So
I mean, yeah, but it's not competitive.
it's not
So if, yeah,
competitive, but
it's so okay. If someone's selling some rare thing for cheap, it's like fine.
I don't know. It does mess up that part of the game a little bit. So I
I
can
mean,
kind of see it. I'm not saying it's right. I think it's dumb too. They should have a better system. But the fact that they had to come up with a special system they have to make for Animal Crossing is silly. But I
well,
kind of get what they're.
like I mean, I don't like if people want to cheat the experience, it's like fine, let them. Like
Yeah, but you don't want that. They
okay,
already
like
have that problem with some of their other games.
so
So
here's a problem with Animal Crossing. And actually, I talked to Jens about this because I think he's bought a few of them. It's basically Farmville. You can only play the game for like an hour before you run out of energy, and then that's it. The game shuts down, and it's like, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. It's like, what? Like, what if I wanted to play the game for 6 hours, or
uh,
it cleared out the schedule? You
well, I
can't
feel
unless you.
like some of that is changed with the Switch version. Like
But I mean, it leads to the larger question of why have that system in there at all?
I don't know.
I mean, then it leads to what you're saying. If people screw with the clock, it's like, okay, now it's the next day. Let's go to my system clock and go, hey, it's tomorrow. It's like, what, why have it at all in the first place? Because they want you to do some daily check-in, but it's like, it's not, that doesn't interest me at all. Like, no.
Yeah, there is part of that, especially like when the game, if you go and try to boot up the GameCube, if you have the GameCube game now and you haven't played it in a long time, the first thing is Mr. Nook will show up and tell you, well, great that you care about your stuff. It's been however many years or
it's
whatever.
been it's been 15 years or whatever.
Yeah. So,
It's like I don't need some asshole raccoon tell me I haven't played my game. Like,
well, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel bad. It's supposed to make you want to play every day. I don't
but I mean, that's a insulting way to play a game. Like WoW is like that. It's like
Yeah.
that's I don't derive pleasure from that. Like
Yeah.
in that context at least. It's like, are you really going to sit there for an hour every day and load up Animal Crossing and collect all the shells and buy a new TV or something for your house and that be it for the day? Like, no.
Yeah, I feel like I think Nintendo's more cognizant of that people want to play their games when they want to, and perhaps there is less of a time clock on there um, for this one. But again, I'm not totally sure because I don't know. But what they did announce, I think, is cool that you can decorate this stuff from Happy Home Designer and New Leaf will be able to be imported, which that's neat. Uh, you can you can have up to 8 people come and visit your island via multiplayer. You can have there's achievements. You can customize your island layout and placing homes for people so they don't just plop down anywhere. I think that's good so they don't mess up your town. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure Animal Crossing folks are excited about this stuff with the game being less than a month away now. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so cool that you got your direct to find out what's going on. Weirder, or I guess not weirder, but EA doing something that I think I've never seen another company do, uh, of banning a streamer of their games and one of their top online players from every single EA game and online service because he rants and threatens staff members and is extremely vulgar to EA. Kurt 0411, Kurt Fennick, is the one that's suffered this severe penalty. But man, if you see some of the stuff that he said to EA employees and how he's berated them and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
feel like it's deserved.
This guy sounds like is a complete jackass. It sounds like.
Like, listen, I don't really play. I spent a long time since I played FIFA. I watch soccer. I enjoy soccer. I watch it when I can. Whatever. Um, I used to be like one of those people that played FIFA every year. I don't anymore. I have heard a lot about FIFA 20 is not good. People don't like FIFA 20. There's a lot of stuff that is not good about it. Like I get not liking the game and wanting to let people know that you don't like this and whatever, but like berating people you play against and then also turning that into a thing against EA itself and then also turning it against like the employees as if
Yeah,
you know
I'm sure Sue from marketing, was the biggest culprit for why FIFA 2020 sucked or something like that.
yeah, and he keeps like it's like continues to post abusive and threatening messages and videos about EA employees and competitive players on social media, and he has encouraged others to do the same. A lot of employees got their Twitter accounts hacked because of his this happening to the guy. Like, again, I totally get being upset about a game that you enjoy not being great or not, or that it could have been better or whatever. But like acting like a total douche
Jackass.
nozzle is
Yeah.
is not the way to go about it. And especially if you're a competitive gamer, you're a pro gamer, it gives pro esports people a really bad name. And they're already having a fight to be taken seriously in the first place. So, having a fight to be taken seriously against like all the people that give gaming a bad name by being assholes online. So you don't need somebody that's supposed to be a representative of that group acting this way. And it's just, I mean, you don't think it's too severe at all, or you're totally with the
No, well, this guy got banned like a month ago or something. I
Yeah.
think something like that, like a temporary suspension.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, that might have been the first clue. Hey, tone down your rhetoric, or stop being, an idiot. And instead he goes, more overboard. It's like, well, what do you think they're going to do? Apologize and say, hey, you're completely right? No, they're just going to ban your ass and move on. Like, they don't need him. It's not like FIFA as an esports going to die because this loser stop, isn't playing anymore. Like,
Right,
they don't
because
care.
he's claiming that they're trying to silence him and that they're trying to keep him from becoming the number one FIFA 20 player and all this other stuff. And I don't, it's just one of those things where like I totally believe in free speech and you should be able to say what you want, but I think there's ways to say it. It's like the whole, we write reviews about games and we don't always get codes, but we get codes, right? So if we go and absolutely trash a game, and maybe it deserves to be blasted some, but there's a nice way to say something, and then there's an absolute just, it sounds like you're being an absolute asshole. The next time that publisher has a game, they may not say anything directly to us,
Yeah.
but you could they could say, okay, we're not giving games to this outlet for a while or whatever because they keep they just absolutely ran down our game, and that would be their way, like EA did, of saying, hey, tone the crap down. And so if I went and bought copies of the next like 3 games that they made and then decided to just post articles blasting them because I just didn't like them or whatever.
Well, I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, he got banned. So I know that the next thing he's going to do is going to create another account, get, use his FIFA copy and start playing again and blasting him again. And then they'll ban that one and then probably ban his console if they can. And
Yeah,
then
and
it'll,
they tried to ban his YouTube and his Twitch, and I think they were able to, or for a while. Like, I think the
see,
thing is also is it exactly what happened, where his fans went and hacked other people's Twitter accounts, like EA employees, and you don't want that. You don't want people becoming martyrs for him and making it even worse.
yeah.
You know? I- Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
there's a YouTuber I watch named I think his name's Asmongold. I think his like real name is Zach something. He's a
mhm.
very like a popular WoW YouTuber, and he pretty regularly blasts the game because especially this patch, like the battle, this expansion of Battle for Azeroth has like sucked. So he will like routinely talk about like it's completely destroyed the game, but he doesn't like single out people necessarily for their work on it. Like it's not like he's not going like, oh, this writer's terrible, go kill him, or something like that. And he doesn't go completely overboard. Like he has some semblance of keeping not being sane necessarily, but he just doesn't go crazy like this guy did.
Yeah, I just
And people bitch about games all the time, but it's that when you crash a threshold and you become like a 4chan troll or something, it's like, yeah, you have stepped over the line. You should be banned and essentially deplatformed. Like, thank God this guy doesn't live anywhere, where FIFA's developed, or he'd be showing up at the studio or something.
yeah, and it's just like, we see this all the time. Like, I mean, like you said, people can bash a game. We see prominent Fortnite players or whoever, voice their displeasure at this being included or this not, or this put in there that it wasn't in there before, or, like when Street Fighter decided to put ads, or, Capcom put ads in a Street Fighter, and things like that. But it's just like I said, there's a way to do it, and then there's a way to be like this guy and just be absolutely overbearing and ridiculous with it, and he kind of deserves his
Yeah,
punishment.
yeah, he just went overboard, and he has no sense of uh, like rationality or perspective. So, I mean, he'll be back within the next few days, blasting them for taking away his right or whatever. But it's like, well, how about instead of ranking like a lunatic, you shut up and play the game,
Yeah, uh, agree.
or
Uh,
or if someone beats you, you don't threaten to kill them, or if you open a
yeah,
loot box,
or that you beat him badly, and then you take that as another thing to bash EA for, as if so. Like, okay.
yeah,
Um. So yeah, getting off from one bad thing to another bad thing. Uh, GameStop has unveiled another one of their concept stores. We've seen, and these are all in Oklahoma, correct?
yeah, I think
So,
Tulsa.
so we've seen the one where they like opened up more space and they have like the pop culture stuff in one area and the retro games in another area and whatever. They have now shown off the thanks to GameIndustry.biz, the one where they have like it's like there's an esports area
Yeah,
in the store. I feel like this isn't necessarily a bad idea because we've seen this at retro stores before where they let you like, try out the games and stuff like that to try to get you to be in the store longer or just to buy something, right? I mean,
well, I mean, the store, it looks like a LAN cafe. Or we're talking about the air.
yeah.
It looks like a Google PC Bang. It's a South
Or like
Korean.
those internet cafes that they have
Yeah, but
in. Yeah,
those don't exist in this country
yeah, no,
because
they don't.
most people don't they don't game socially like that because we're too spread out as a country, honestly. And we like hanging out in our room, not hanging
Well,
out in a
also like Starbucks isn't gonna let you just be there all day and game,
yeah.
you know? Like uh like when I went to France, but this is of course like what was this? 18 years ago when I went to France in 2002, there was internet cafes there and there
Oh
was
yeah,
people playing WoW there, or
not 2000.
StarCraft or
Yeah,
whatever.
well, it was in 2002, but yeah,
Yeah.
or it wasn't WoW then, but uh, yeah, but it's 2020. Like I've never been to a internet cafe because they just don't exist in my state, or
Right.
they pop up and then they're gone within 4 months. Uh, like I guess it's kind of neat, but no, like I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but I don't think that this will last too long. Or the only way I see it lasting is if they separate it off completely. If it's they just come up with a new name for it. It's not GameStop because that name is too poisoned.
I agree with you. I think but I just don't think that they would do without the name. I think that while you say it's too poison, I think if you started calling
Well,
it something else,
that was the weird thing when they killed off ThinkGeek. It's like why did you buy it and then kill it off? Like if it's unprofitable, sure, but I would still keep
well, yeah,
that
but they
branding.
still have Think Geek stores.
They don't have ThinkGeek. ThinkGeek isn't a website anymore.
Right? Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not.
they may sell the crap on GameStop like here and there, but it's not like you can go to ThinkGeek and just say, hey, I want a Doctor Who clock or something. They don't have it. Uh, so like if they want to have different stores, that's somewhat commendable. But I think like you have like a retro like a PC land store, call it something else. If they have that retro store idea, I would call that FuncoLand. I might actually call it like the PC store EB Games or like Electronics Boutique. Like have a real
Uh,
throwback.
I think they can't because that technically the EB games in Canada are still EB games.
Or I think Software Etc. might. I mean, they own that too. Or call it some name. But I just don't think GameStop. People say I'm going to GameStop. It's like what?
Yeah, I think I I agree with you that the name is got a bad rap, especially with the
I mean,
what I saw
did he see?
last week of the now they're being absolutely torturous about going in and trading your cell phone.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you get hassled to trade in your phone. It's like what? Like, shouldn't
Why
you
would I
bugging me
trade in
about?
my phone to GameStop?
Yeah. Well, I think it's weird they have those key. I don't know if you've been to like a Walmart or a grocery store. They have those kiosks where you can like trade your phone in.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you
it's like,
pay money and you
what?
just drop your phone in there.
It's like what?
Right.
Who? Like the only way I see that working is if the phone is stolen. But like, who's gonna go? Oh, hey, I bought a loaf of bread, some cheese, and hey, I'm gonna drop off my iPhone at Kroger or Walmart. Like, huh?
Yeah, I've seen it. And I'm just kind of like, what? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's like doubly weird to think at GameStop, like the guy, the clerk hassling you is like, hey, you have an iPhone, right? What model? How much memory? How old is it? It's like, leave me alone. I just want to buy this game and get out of here as soon as possible.
well, and it's bad because it's like it's sad that like the reason they're doing it is because they might lose their job tomorrow if they don't frickin' sell get you to frickin' trade in the phone. And
Oh,
it's go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say I have a real sad story about that. There's a local chain up here, kind of called Disc Replay. It's like a used game and DVD store, and one of the locations went out of business or was going out of business because like the rent got raised up dramatically and they just couldn't afford it. So they had to liquidate everything. And I went there like one of the last days when everything was like 95% off, and it was like it looked like it was like the clerk was like, yeah, everyone got fired. It's like, yep, this will be GameStop soon enough, I think.
Damn. Well, I mean,
You went through your own store liquidation. I mean, how sad is that at a certain point?
yeah, I haven't even gone to like one of my. I have a store that's really close to me, and then I have one that I used to go to. I haven't even gone to either one since the announcement to see if one of those are gonna get,
Yeah,
uh,
close.
taken out.
Yeah.
But
What? I mean, I think we talked about it. I don't know about where you are. There are 4 GameStops within like a 6-mile radius of where I am, and it's nuts. It's like, who? Why do you
you
have
haven't
this?
seen you haven't seen if one of them has a closing sign
No,
or whatever
they're
yet.
all still open. Yeah.
That's
It's like,
crazy because I'd figure the ones that would go out first are the ones that are in really close proximity to each other.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
like there's like one GameStop kind of far away. It's like 5 miles away, but there are 3 GameStops. There's like 2 that are like essentially like next to each other. Like they're like one's like on one road and one's like a mile on the other, and then like the other one's like 2 miles further down the road. And it's like, what?
Yeah, just hopefully don't be that douchebag that just goes in there and starts laughing about, "Oh, well, y'all aren't gonna have a
Oh,
job anyway.
yeah.
Not you. I'm just saying, like, there are people that do that that
Well,
don't.
yeah. Even at that disc replay store, I felt bad for the clerk. I mean, that's a good store. It wasn't their. I mean, it wasn't their fault, but it's like, man, this sucks. I'd rather
Yeah,
have
like,
there was a GameStop. There's a GameStop like 2 stores down. It's like I'd rather have them go to business than you guys.
yeah. I mean, they've had some terrible practices in the past, and it's hard to like. And then like, that's the thing is, they went from having terrible practices to like lately they had been kind of okay to oh now we got this guy that's predatory again. And they're
Yeah.
making
Well,
us see predatory, and it sucks. Like,
I think they got the current president of GameStop was like an old oh Pet Boy CEO or like some like automotive CEO, like automotive part CEO. He thinks like that somehow translates into games, and it's like no, it doesn't.
yeah, it's a
Like
different
at all.
mindset. No, like
Yeah.
I went to Pep Boys once, and I've never gone to them again. Here in Miami, because I went to do an oil change and the dude freaking charged me like $40 more to rotate my tires without telling me, and putting something else in the car without telling me. And he goes, "Oh, this is the package that we offer with the oil change. They make me do this." And I'm like, "Dude, you just charged me $40 that I didn't sign up to pay for." And I was like, "I'm never gonna
Yeah.
come in here again. So
Yeah.
good luck." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I mean, Tire Kingdom might charge me a little bit more, but at least they make me
Oh,
sign something, and they only do exactly what I signed. And if they find something else wrong with the car after I sign something, guess what? They're on the hook for it."
this guy, he didn't do Pet Boys. He was the president of Advanced Auto Parts. I mean, same thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like why would you think that translates into games? Like it doesn't.
Well, it's still retail, right?
I
And
mean,
it's
yeah,
not
but
not
yeah,
it's not bad to like have a different background, but I think it's like you said, it's to have this idea that like you need, if you understand anything about gaming people, I mean it's not much different than any other people. Most people don't want to be bothered, right? Most people don't want to be hassled into buying something. Um, and much less with when it's in a store and you're already there buying something. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to be told, oh, I mean, I get like the pre-order thing doesn't really bother me because you kind of understand that that's how they make money. And especially now with like the more and more that physical games go by the wayside, um, the trade-ins and stuff like that may not matter as much anymore. But like when you're telling me to come to a gaming store and I guess toy store now because they have so many other collectibles, whatever. I don't come to GameStop ever thinking about wanting to sell you my phone.
Yeah.
And unless you're going to tell me that I'm getting a way bigger, much more money back for my phone than Best Buy or the other phone companies, which I can use that phone to trade in towards a new phone that I'm getting from that same provider, what's the point?
Yeah.
To save you from getting your ass chewed out when you shouldn't be getting your ass chewed out over a freaking phone? Like it's just
Well,
stupid to me.
yeah. GameStop currently has a deal. It's like buy two get one free on all retro games, and I have
Right.
some spare money, so I'm like, hey, I mean, I there's certain games that I like to grab. Let's see if they're on there, and it's like they aren't. Like they're listed, but they don't have any copies. So
Hmm.
it's like, why are you listing these games if you don't have copies? Like, why don't you just take them off? Because if they did it with the SNES games, they'd go from like 300 games to like 100.
Yeah. It's
Like,
it's crazy.
and also just walking into GameStop is like the most like I don't know about the ones down there, but they're like the most like sorry experiences up here because like games barely make a dent anymore.
Yeah.
Like I
And
remember, oh, gone.
well, no, you're right in that like people buy so much digitally now that it's really, I mean, that's why they were at one point like stores were inundated with Funko Pops and collectibles and
What do you
other
mean?
things.
What do you mean? At one point, they still are up here.
Well, no, they still are, but I'm saying like I almost felt
They've
like
actually got.
I almost felt like it felt like the games just got pushed further and further and further into the back of the store.
Oh yeah, that is it. Like they just released like a new Samus or Metroid like gun arm for Samus that you can like wear or stuff like that, and it's like, all right, I guess this is better than a Funko Pop, but I still would never really buy it.
I mean, like when I was big into the pops, like I thought it was nice because you could go into a GameStop and find ones that were not being made anymore. or whatever because
Yeah.
they'd sit on those shelves. But I felt bad for some. I mean, I met one of the guys that was like he was they'd switch him around to some of the ones that I went to, and I
Yeah.
met when I was working at UPS, I actually had to deliver something to his house, and I was like, dude, oh, you're the GameStop guy, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember you, man. It's like, and so we talked for a while, and I was like, I'm so sorry about what's happening with GameStop. He's like, dude, I knew it from the minute they started making the store more about Funko Pops and Power Ranger toys and all this other
Hey
stuff
man,
that we were going down. Like,
Power Ranger toys still are all right in my book.
I'm sure you've seen the new light up Dino.
Yeah, the Dragon Dagger. I may pick that
Yeah,
up. Depends on how good the quality is.
and I was like, yeah, man. Uh,
I mean,
I feel bad
there's
for
a
you.
there's a streamer I like. I think his name is Trihex. He's on like YouTube and he did like the various games. But he did like a 9-hour stream. This was like a few months ago where him and his old manager at GameStop, because he used to work there, just talked about GameStop. You know, about how bad it is, or like they worked there for like a few years together, and it's like holy hell, like there sounds like a nightmare working there.
Yeah, it's always sounded like a nightmare working there. I remember when I was until I started hearing some of the horror stories, like going on YouTube and watching the videos. I wanted to work there so bad because I thought it was like a place where it's cool. Oh, it's gaming related, and you can be in there and talk to people and all that stuff. And then you realize how much of it's like almost like a freaking sales job, but you're at the store and not
Oh yeah,
over the phone. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to work here.
yeah. Like the first thing I had a friend in college apply there, and the first thing they asked him was like, how do you feel about upselling people? And it's like, back in high school, I used to work at a Blockbuster Video, and it was
Hmm.
the same practice. Like someone going through the checkout lane, it's like, oh, have you signed up for Total Access, or have is there anything you'd like to, any concessions you want to buy, or anything you want to like place an order, or stuff like that. It's like people just want to leave, get their video, and leave.
Right, or have their question answered, or know what the trade-in value is for this thing or whatever. Like it's insane. Uh, the crap they have to go through, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be
I,
a sad day when you can't walk into a GameStop anymore. And
I just wanted to.
yeah,
Oh god.
no way.
I was gonna say I just want GameStop to at least do one Funko store. Where you walk in, it's 4 old ass CRT TVs, a NES, two Super Nintendos, and a Genesis hooked up, and a bunch of games. And some guy he goes, "Hey, what do you want to play?" And that's it.
That'd be great. Let's do it.
Because that's how old GameStop. That's how old Funko Lands were. Like they had like
Yeah.
4 TVs in the front. They had like newer games, and then they had at least like 2 or 3 old like TVs in the back for like if you wanted to try a certain game, you could just tell them to play. Put it in and play. Play it. And that was it.
Yep, back in the day. Now you can't do that. Now it's all demo disc, and if they even have a kiosk there at all.
Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean demo discs? It's just
Yeah, it's just like a little bit of thing where you can watch videos
Yeah,
of like trailers of the game. You can't even play anything.
right.
So it's whatever. So yeah, but it will be a sad day where you can't walk into a GameStop anymore, and and you can't just enjoy like physically being in a place and looking at games on a shelf like that without it being like a Walmart or where you're there for something else, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's like, hey, I'm gonna pick up some Coke and Cheetos, and hey, I'll guess I'll pick up Fire Emblem on the way out.
yeah, or whatever. Or let me see if maybe this game went down in price or
Yeah,
something. Whereas like a GameStop, you kind of already know that there's
it
been
never
a
goes down.
price drop. Well, you know that it actually could surprise you that it did go down. Um,
Yeah,
but or that they're having one of those buy two get one free, and you find a few games that you're like, oh man, I kind of would have been waiting to play this game or something, and I can get it for free if I buy two other ones or something, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, not gonna be a great day when that finally comes to pass. But okay, finally, talking about. Oh, damn, I forgot to talk about this actually because I didn't have it in the doc, and should have been something we talked about way earlier. But what do you think about all these Sony and well, basically Japanese publishers except for EA appearing at shows because of the coronavirus?
I think it's like 10% actual fear and 90% garbage, or 90% they just have nothing to talk about or show. Like that virus, like most people, even if they got it, they're not going to die, assuming they're healthy. Like it's becoming like some weird paranoia or weird hysteria thing. And it's like slow your roll, guys.
I
Like
don't
calm down.
I don't know that it's. I mean, I get that part, right? I get what you're saying. It's just like the was it the mayor of Boston that told Sony
Yeah,
like, hey, let's not
he
make
was
this
complaining
thing
about
more
PAX
than it
or
is, um, and come back and like let's not have this stereotype of East. You're making a big stereotype of Asian people now here, and it's one case, and it was a young guy that they have secluded. It's not like he's just walking around everywhere. Um, but like I get it because especially for Japan, you have to go through all these different uh, international airports, and you never know who you're
yeah.
gonna run into, who has it. What if you get? I mean, people get sick going to these shows anyway, like because people are
Oh yeah.
just
I mean,
people are nasty.
like the
Like
PAX plague, well, the PAX plague, or stuff like that, or like getting pink eye from the VR headsets and stuff like that.
right, but that's what I'm
But
saying though. Like okay, you got to think about if you get sick with something and somebody thinks it's the coronavirus and it's not, and you get stuck here now, well, then Sony's responsible for that worker that got sick,
yeah,
and then what do you do? And also like if you're coming from a country that's used to having free healthcare, and then all of a sudden you got a big ass bill from a hospital, and you don't live here. I mean, what the hell are you gonna do with that? Like, is so.
ignore.
Well, yeah, I know it's. Yes, you can just easily ignore it, but I was just saying, like, but it's just like it's stuff you don't want to deal with. So I kind of get it from like Capcom and Sony and Square Enix's perspective on that front of, I mean, look, they're even thinking about there's talk today. The number one trend on Twitter was, what are we gonna do if we have to cancel the Olympics? You know, so and this is a very real thing, especially in Asia where they're not handling this the best. Um,
Yeah,
you know, now EA deciding that they don't want to go, I don't understand when you're like what 4 miles from where GDC is. Like nothing's gonna happen to you. I mean, like I get it
yeah.
if you don't want people from Dice coming or some of the European countries, but like you wouldn't send your local team there. That's weird. Uh, but yeah, just I don't know. I think you know
I'm not. Well, yeah. I'm not
I
saying people shouldn't like safe or be at least a little mindful of it, but it's just like a really weird hysteria that like no people get a grip. Especially
yeah
like if you live in the area, it's like how many cases? Unless like half the team is out with it or dead because of it, I'm sure Dice and GDC will be fine.
well I mean Dice happened and DICE was kind of before it became this.
Yeah. Like GDC or like PAX East or whatever. I mean,
Right.
internet or
I mean,
E3
even
and it seems
E3, if it keeps going the way it's going, could start getting affected. So that's going to be interesting too. I mean, Sony's already not going to be there. Uh,
they,
but if
they knew
things,
ahead of time. That's my conspiracy theory.
yeah, I mean, they were supposed to have Last of Us at both of these events. So, I mean, they had something that they were going to be showing people.
It,
Uh,
it'd be funny if this is all part on viral marketing for Last of Us 2.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this keeps going, if it does wind up affecting E3 where people don't go. And then I think that's
Yeah.
even a huge, bigger deal. I mean, obviously, Square Enix could. I mean, I think the conferences, they don't have to be there for those. You can just do a direct, and you can still have
Yeah.
them.
Well,
But
didn't
like
like that
not being on the
one.
show floor, it's just yeah.
I mean, yeah, they could be on a show for it. Just have someone there with a bunch of TVs running, Last of Us, and that's all you need. You can put that kind of bubble suite if you want. Wasn't there one event or like one Sony thing where they like it was like they had like 3 screens and they were like shuffling people between them all, like
Yeah,
three
that was
stages or something?
the last
That's
E3 they
terrible.
did. It wasn't great.
Yeah,
No.
no,
That's where they realized we don't have to go back to E3 because that was crazy.
yeah. Even the people there were like, "This is bad."
Yeah, I mean, that was them trying to provide some experience, and it was like, okay, this is way too much. Like, we don't need this. So okay, finally, this is probably the oldest of all the news, but whatever. Eli Roth is going to direct the Borderlands movie, and I feel like it's like appropriate and also weird, and maybe it'll make it a good movie. I like Eli Roth as a
I feel
director.
like I feel well. I feel like it's appropriate because both of them are kind of shitty.
I mean,
like what's like?
I like Kevin Fever, and I saw Hostel in the theater, and I kind of liked it.
Oh, so
Um,
you're the one.
I
I
mean,
like him more
I
as an
didn't go
actor
see
because he's
I didn't go see the second movie. The first movie was enough, but I
like I
mean,
like him as an actor because he's in Glorious Bastards. That's kind of about it.
I think it's like it could work for Borderlands, right? I mean,
They both have
just
abrasive personalities.
yeah, exactly. So like it could work. I mean, and I feel like him working with Randy Pitchford to be right up there with him too. So uh, yeah, I mean, this could work out to make Borderlands feel like Borderlands at least. I don't know that it's gonna make it great or anything, but we'll wait and see, I guess. I mean,
I can't wait. I can't wait for the guy who did the Green Inferno to do Borderlands.
well, I mean, he feels excited about it. He wants to bring his own ideas to the thing. So like, I don't know. I feel like he could make the movie fun, and maybe it'll
The,
have
the
much better
only thing,
writing.
the only thing that could actually top this is if Zack Snyder said, "Hey guys, I'm doing the Duke Nukem film,"
Oh my god.
and then we are truly in hell.
Let's please never give him that opportunity.
He's too busy gaslighting people about a stupid Justice League cut.
Just
I still people see people on Twitter going like, "Oh, release a Snyder cut." It's like, yeah, because I'm sure his
Ben
version of
Affleck said
Just
it.
way better. Yeah,
Ben Affleck just
he's a
said it.
much
So.
say what you will about Joss Whedon. I'm sure Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League is gonna be way better than his.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
You idiots.
so let's just quickly going over some games to look out for. Mark already talked about the Mega Man Zero and ZX collection. Uh, so stuff that hasn't come out yet. Um, Soul Action is coming to the
Not a ton.
Switch.
Yeah, it's just not a
Uh,
ton.
yeah, that's done. Under Hero comes out for the Switch as well, which is one of the games I'm waiting to hear back on. I really like the way it looks. Um, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 comes out on Friday. All right, and Blood Roots also comes out
This
on
is.
Friday. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say this is old. This came out last week actually, but that Bayonetta Vanquish game or
Mm-hmm.
pack came out. I need
That's
to pick
out
that
as
up.
well. Um, and
Oh,
for go ahead.
Space Channel 5 VR came out.
Oh yeah, the kind of
Got
funky
bad
news
reviews.
flash. That's what it's called. Has a weird ass like
It got
name.
like, well, yeah, it got bad reviews also because it's really short. Like that
It's
game, Space Channel
VR
5 isn't.
though.
Yeah, but you want a game longer than 45 minutes.
Oh, Jesus, 45 minutes?
I mean, Space Channel by itself was only like an hour and 10 minutes or hour and 20 minutes of that. But yeah, this new one's like 45 minutes. It's only like 4 stages.
Well, okay, but like if you're used to those games being short, I don't know.
No,
It's,
I mean that's too short. Or I mean, especially if it was like $10, then yeah, that's fine. Not 40.
oh wow. Phew. Sega, you're charging a little bit too. It's Sega, right?
Yeah, that thing like
Okay.
yeah, it's like that's 40
Uh,
bucks, and it's like
Sega, you're charging a
no,
bit too much for that. Way
yeah,
too much. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus comes to the West next week by the time we're doing this show, and Murder by Numbers, which is a game I'm excited about, uh, comes out March 5th and 6th, and also the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon remake comes out. So, yep, definitely will
can't
be
wait.
playing me some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So yeah, and then like I said, not too long from now, we'll be talking about Neo 2, and will be the show 20 will be coming. Not that either one of us is going to be playing it, but maybe Randy will come on to talk about it. Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Bleeding Edge, Half-Life Alyx. Man, it's coming. That crazy time is coming. Get ready, folks. And of course, Persona 5 Royal at the end of the month of March. So, which I'm
That's the
sure
only game that
Mark and
matters.
Jens will speak for like 2 hours about. So,
Yep.
um, but okay. Thank you so much. We don't have a sorry, we don't have a topic this week because it's kind of late already.
Our
Um,
topic. Yammering on about GameStop for 20 minutes.
yeah, exactly. I didn't. Some of these topics I was not expecting us to talk that long about, but we did. So hey, that's good. Um, I'd much rather have us like actually have conversations and not feel like we have to hit some time clock with each news bit, unless there's like nothing to talk about. Then whatever. But thank you for listening. I appreciate everybody that got through the whole hour and almost 2 hours, and uh, or if you're just punching in on the time code, appreciate that as well. You can always subscribe to get whenever we drop a show. We've been trying to stay consistent with this Wednesday morning time frame, and yeah, you can leave us a review if you like as well on whatever podcast place you listen to. Go visit that w2mnet.com, and we'll see you next week. Later,
Later.
everybody.